In this video, we are going to take a look at arrays. Arrays are a very useful model that can and will be used in multiple facets of mathematics. An important idea behind arrays is to not get caught up in the term, but to instead focus on what's really happening in the model. An array is a model that's made up of equal rows and columns of an object. It is important that students are very precise, as extra objects or objects that are not lined up precisely can cause a miscount. Arrays in this year will be used a lot for multiplication. For example, in the equation, 2 groups of 7, you can draw it in two different ways. One way you might draw it is using 2 rows and putting 7 objects in each row. So you have 2 rows, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. Students at this point may use skip counting to solve them. Some may skip count vertically, or horizontally, going 7, 14, whereas other students may recognize that skip counting by 2s is a lot easier here. This gives students multiple ways to look at something that meet whatever level they may be on. The other way they may draw this is they may actually turn it and do 2 columns and put 7 dots in each column, which would give you 7 rows. Once again, you can count by 2s, or you can count by 7s. Rows and columns are a very important vocabulary word that we'll refer to often, and it's very important that students understand that columns go up and down, and rows will go from left to right, or side to side. So now let's try another one. Let's do 5 groups of 8. May draw them 5 in each row, so they give you 5 columns, and you may do this 8 times. And while I draw this, I know what you may be thinking. This is taking forever to draw. This is important because it builds a foundation for some skills later on, specifically when students are working with area and perimeter. So this gives a really great and safe place for students to call back to when we begin that topic. So you can count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So 5 groups of 8 is equal to 40. Or students who are feeling pretty confident at this point in the year may count by 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. In this next model, we may do the same thing again by counting by, sorry about that, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, or 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. On top of this being very useful when we start learning about area and perimeter, this method is also very useful for students organizing things into equal groups instead of drawing pictures with dots randomly placed, where some students may end up counting each dot one at a time. This naturally gives itself over to skip counting as a strategy to solve multiplication. I'm going to do one last one. Let's do 3 groups of 6. Again, here you have in the model on the left, you have 6 columns and 3 rows. And in the model on the right, you have 3 columns and 6 rows. You may count them 6, 12, 18, or 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Some students may also begin noticing that when skip counting, they might run into some of the same numbers on both. If students do this, this is great, and it's worth talking about. And once again, we have 6, 12, 18, and 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18.